work in Solidarité Jeunesse, which is a French organization that works with international volunteers, and it has 8 regional delegations in France, where it hosts volunteers, long-term volunteers all year long. And we also organize a lot of work camps during the summer season. So actually right now, and despite of the whole thing, despite of the virus and this craziness that's going on, we are still organizing some work camps, maybe not that much that we used to do, but still we do that. We host volunteers. And we work with a lot of young people. And at the same time, we organize a lot of projects for teenagers. So at some point a few years ago, we were thinking about organizing a bigger project together with international partners, something that would be linked with the teenagers. We found another 7 partners who were interested in the same subject. And together with these partners, we decided to do these big projects. So in total, we are 8 project partners. We have 5 organizations from Europe, which is Informa Giovani from Italy, Alex from Greece, ESTS from Estonia, De Amicitia from Spain, and Solidarité Jeunesse from France. So the majority of you guys who are participating in this webinar today, you are part of those organizations. And we also have 3 partners from other continents. We have a Japanese and an Indian organization, and we have a Canadian partner. So as you can see, the project is quite big. We did not want to focus only on the European continent, but we wanted to do something bigger. So together with these project partners, we believe that young people should participate in volunteering activities as soon as possible in order to bring the change to the society, and also because this international experience shapes their identities, their perception of the world and other people, and thus it makes them and people around them more tolerant, accepting, and solidarity. So the main aim of this big project that we are doing is to support the quality development of youth work by elaborating and formalizing tools and improving competence to prepare, implement, and evaluate international projects for teenagers. And our main aim is to reinforce the capacities of partner organizations to organize international projects for teenagers and to provide youth workers like you with the quality online and offline tools to lead international activities for teenagers. So this webinar is exactly part of this online tool that we want to provide you with.
Thank you, Dina. So I am Cécile Stola. Actually, I am a psychologist and co-founder and co-director of Elan Interculturel. And this is Manon Crozet.
Hello, everyone. I am Manon. I am a project coordinator at Elan Interculturel. And so Cécile and I will co-facilitate together this webinar today.
Good. So just 2 words about the session of today. This webinar will be about pedagogy of teenagers in an intercultural context. It consists of 2 parts. Okay. The first part will be presented today, will be based on educational neuroscience, and will aim to understand how do young people learn, how to stimulate concentration, attention, how to promote the learning process through motivation, engagement. And there will be a second part during autumn. Then we will send you the exact date. And in that moment, we will connect what we will see today with interculturality. Okay? So, Elan Interculturel, just 2 words, okay, about us. Elan Interculturel is a non-profit organization based in Paris, founded by 5 migrant women in 2008, most of them intercultural psychologists. who were interested in exploring and developing new methods on facilitating intercultural communication, adaptation, and collaboration. Élan Interculturel is also an official training organization in Paris. We develop and lead trainings for professionals working in intercultural settings as social workers, youth workers, language teachers. And we also offer workshops and informal learning opportunities for migrant people, young people at risk of exclusion, and unaccompanied minors. 2 words about our expertise. Our expertise has been built up thanks to international European projects, especially Erasmus+, okay, that allow us to develop innovative tools and methodologies, especially aimed to foster intercultural communication and adaptation through multisensory pedagogy, neuroscience, and art mediation. We have participated in several European projects for the past 12 years as partners and also as coordinators, developing our expertise on interculturality in intersection with different methodologies such as forum theater, digital storytelling, and visual arts. But now let's start with the model. You will have more information about us. We will send you our website. So now let us start with this webinar. In order to understand pedagogy of teenager in an intercultural context, firstly, we need to gain awareness about how do people, and especially young people, learn. So to this end, I will ask you to take a pen or a pencil, 5 sheets of paper, yeah, so that we can do an activity which is composed of 3 short experiences. So I repeat, 5 sheets of paper, yeah, and 1 pen, 1 pencil. First experience. Please observe the next image. Just observe. Okay, let's go. Manon. Okay. Just observe this image. Okay. Manon. Now, on a sheet of paper, draw everything you saw in the same spot, order, shape, size. Try to remember all that you saw and write it down in a paper. So now we will show you another image, and you will do the same. Just observe, okay? Just observe the next image. Please, Manon. Okay. Again, just observe. Good. Now, again, On a sheet of paper, you will draw everything you saw in the same spot, order, size, all the shapes that you remember. So let us see the reason why it's easier to memorize the second one. Manon, please. And it's concerning if capacity of the memory, the working memory. The working or immediate memory has capacity limits about 5-9 items, okay? Chunking is a strategy to increase the number of items that can be functionally held in the immediate memory by giving sense. Chunking occurs when the working memory perceives incoming data as a structure, a system. In the second image, you could see a man or a person, okay? Associated information is memorized much more easily than dissociated element or information. So by understanding this concept, okay, the trainers, I think that among you there are many trainers, so the trainers can deliver just the right amount of information without overwhelming their young people's brain. Also, they can either orchestrate chunking for young people or teach them how to do it. For instance, a conceptual, well-rehearsed mind map can visually chunk a lot of discrete bits of information into a single visual concept for better retention. All activities based on storytelling are very efficient to transfer different kind of information into a single visual concept, okay, full of sense. In the next online training, we will show you some activities aimed to help your participant, the young participant, to chunk isolated items, okay? Second experience. Manon. Just a second, please. Now prepare another sheet of paper, please. Good. Second experience. You need again a pen, a pencil, and a sheet of paper. So again, please observe the next image. Just observe. Don't write anything, okay? Manon. Good. Please just observe. Okay, now write the symbols related to each number on a sheet of paper. Write the symbol related to each number in a sheet of paper. We will show you some numbers, and instead of writing the numbers, you will write down the symbol connected to each number. Okay. So please count how many mistakes you have had and write this number down. Now we will show you the right answer. And please count down how many mistakes did you have. Okay. So again, please hide the first series of number below the other sheet of paper. And we will show you a new image that you will just observe. Just observe. Okay. Please observe the whole image. The whole image. And now you will, in a new sheet of paper, you will write the symbols connected to each number. You will translate this number into the symbol that you saw. Okay. So, how many mistakes did you have in the first series of number and in the second one? So when we learn much better when new information is associated with previous knowledge. Okay. Where have you already seen the number organized in that way? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Where? Actually, in your phones, okay? In the keyboard, for example, or in the calculators, is an image that we have already seen many times. No, so it's a knowledge that we have already had. So there is a specific area here, the medial frontal cortex, which links new information with previous information. Okay, so according to our experience, team building activities at the beginning of our trainings with young people are very useful for collecting data about their hobbies, their passions, the participants' backgrounds, and then with all this information, always data that we had collected, it will be very beneficial for connecting this information with the future knowledges in which we will work on. Okay, so we always try to do this link. New information, trying to link it with previous information of participants. If you don't remember, if you don't immediately know the answer to a question, you could first try recalling what you already know about that topic. And this might help you to come up with right answer after all. So before sharing a concept, you can ask participants to tell what they know, what do they know about that. Okay. Good. Third experiment. Next activity. For this activity, please, you will have 5 minutes, 2 minutes for reading the text that we will present you. And then after reading, try to make in another sheet of paper, try to make a drawing which represents what did you read, okay? So first you will read, and second one, you will try to draw what did you understand, okay? Let's go, please. Okay, now we will do an activity, but just 5-minute activity by pairs. So we will break down rooms. You will find one person in front of you, and you will have 2 minutes. Each person will have 2 minutes for showing the other person the draw, okay? And explain shortly why did you draw, yeah, that, okay? So you will share your drawing with the other person and tell them what you wanted to represent with it.
Okay, so what we just did is we just recodified new information. So you just received a text, you read it, and you recodified it through your own perspective as a drawing, right? And so many studies show that we learn much better and we memorize much better what we produce and what we generate. And the other thing that we did right now is reinforce the information, because not only you recodified your information in your own perspective, but you also recodified it in different ways. First, you read the information. Second, you drew it. That's a second way. And third, you spoke about it for those who could share. And so this built different so-called highways in your brain to access the same information. So with this experiment, we saw how easier it is to memorize a text, memorize new information when we recodify it and when we reinforce it in different ways. So with those 3 experiments, we saw 3 principles with which the brain functions. The first thing is that the learning is easily processed when the information is associated and when it makes sense, right? That was the first experiment with your drawing of the little man. Then the second principle is that it's easier to remember new information when it is associated with previous knowledge. So that was the second experiment with the numbers that showed it to us. And then the third principle that we just saw is that we remember much better when we produce the information that we received and when we learn it in different ways. Cécile, do you want to make a transition or should I go on?
Go, you can go.
Okay, so now we saw those 3 principles of how the brain functions better during a learning process. And now, but for this to happen, the first ingredient is to be able to be attentive and to be focused and concentrated. So how do we stimulate concentration and attention, especially in teenagers that have a lot of stimulation nowadays? They are very connected, they are very curious of the world, so they receive a lot of different stimuli. So how do we enhance concentration and attention in our trainings? So we need attention, but attention is not unlimited. It's limited in time, but it's also limited in other ways that we are going to see now. So the first advice that we give trainers is to switch types of tasks frequently. So it's a bit surprising, but studies have shown that even adults should switch tasks every 10 to 20 minutes. Of course, you can work on a paper or on something for 2 hours, 3 hours, but it's very recommended during a training to switch tasks more often. And it can be the same subject, but it's better to switch tasks. So maybe first the students or the trainees can read about the subject for 10 minutes, then they can speak about it, then they can reflect or draw or do something else about the same subject. And of course, teenagers need changes more frequently, 5 to 10 minutes. It seems very little, but actually you can change very often the type of tasks that you give on the same subject for them to remember better. So that's the first principle to try and increase attention and retention, timed intervals. The second principle is to trigger curiosity with novelty. So it's been shown in different studies, and you will have all the references. You have the references at the bottom of the slide, but you will also have it at the end of the presentation. So newness is attractive to the brain. So when the brain identifies something new, it releases a hormone called noradrenaline that awakens the brain. This dates back from prehistorical times when a new thing could become a danger. And so we had to wake up our brains in order to be able to react. So it is a natural and very instinctive reaction that when we see something new, our brain reacts and is more awake. So this means it's important to introduce fun facts, strange things, maybe a different sound. Maybe you can bring objects that the students are not used to see in a classroom or in a training process. It's important to try and trigger their curiosity.
Sorry, Manon, for interrupting.
Yes?
But I must confess to you that I'm a little bit tired and I'm lost focus and concentration. Maybe we do just a short activity in order to wake up our brain and our body.
Yes, an activity. What kind?
Short, very short.
Okay.
So I will ask you to wake up some part of your body. You will choose the how, and the rest of the people will repeat it. So for that, please stand up. Stand up. Let's go. Cynthia. Frank, stand up, Frank.
If you can stand up. If not, we are with you in spirits.
Yes. Lea, Manco, Lucia, Matilda. Okay. So, Manon, please, what part of your body do you want to wake up and how?
Okay, I will wake up my fingers.
How?
Like this.
Okay, so please repeat. The fingers. Okay. Okay. Now I want to wake up my hair like that. So please repeat. Okay. Okay. Nicolaus, what part of your body do you want to wake up and how?
Don't forget to unmute yourself if you want.
Yeah, I just muted. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
I want to wake up my head and maybe I just shake it a bit, my head.
Thank you. Ingrid, hello.
Hello.
What part of body do you want to wake up and how?
Wait, I have my arm.
Okay, like that. Okay. The other. Great. And finally, because we don't have enough time, Cynthia. Cynthia, hello.
Hello, yes.
What part of your body do you want to wake up and how?
I want to wake up my neck like this.
How? Opa. Oh.
Like this.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. You can all sit down. Thank you for participating. Don't forget to, I'm sorry, mute yourself again so we have a better quality of listening. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Cécile. I feel much better. That was unexpected. And I hope it released noradrenaline in every brain in this workshop to awaken the brain. So that was the purpose. Okay, so now that we triggered curiosity with novelty and something a bit strange, a bit fun, there's something obvious, but that we often forget as trainers is that we need water, oxygen, and glucose in a constant supply, and our brain is a huge consumer of those things. We forget it, but exercising for 2 minutes, even 1 minute, making small movements like we just did, keeps the oxygen flowing to the brain and allows the brain to generate more neural connections. Also, drinking just a glass of water in the middle of the training hydrates the body, hydrates the brain, but also helps to deliver glucose and oxygen faster to our brain. And of course, eating fresh or dried fruits or maybe a biscuit provides glucose to our brains. So we often forget it, but having either doing that during training or having a small break so the trainees can walk around, drink a little bit, eat something. It's really an intrinsic part of your training, and it will really help the rest of the training to happen more smoothly. So we just saw 3 ways to foster attention and concentration, specifically in teenagers, because they are more stimulated by so many things during your training. So we saw how to stimulate their concentration on a punctual basis during the training. But when you are giving training about a subject for more workshops than just one, you need the people to be motivated and to become committed to learn, to memorize what you are transmitting to them, what you are the knowledge that you are transferring to them, and also to be motivated to apply this learning and to really integrate it in their lives. And for that, you need to promote and foster motivation and commitments in your trainees. And how do we do that? So Cécile, I will let you go on with this part.
Yes, please. So one of the advices is to include positive emotional triggers. There are brain regions dealing with emotion called amygdala and memory, hippocampus, that are very, very close and connected each other. So this is the reason why emotion has a strong impact on the learning process. Surely you remember where and with whom you were on September 11th, 2001, or during your graduation day. You can remember details concerning the place, the people around you, because they were times where you felt strong emotions. So that's the reason why it's very useful for learning purposes to foster positive emotional triggers during teaching and presenting. You can reach positive emotions, making connection with students' interest and past, which you can collect during interactive activity, playful activity, aimed to know each other at the beginning of your training. You can also stimulate positive emotion, sharing anecdotes, talking about things that are relevant in the daily life. And according to our experience, activities based on forum theater or storytelling are powerful emotional triggers. And we will share with you some of these activities during the next session, okay? But the most important that all this action will stimulate emotions, and emotion will improve and consolidate, yeah, the information in the long-term memory. Another tip is concerning help young people identify personal resources. Okay, some situation can be identified by the brain as threats or as challenges. Okay, do you remember, actually a challenge response is associated with positive emotions like excitement and with advantageous outcomes like seeking information, linking new people. Remember, yeah, I said that remember the text that you read during the third experience we called about the cortisol, okay? And the cortisol, we can block all our capacity for thinking or reason. So to see situation as a challenge, okay, and not as a threat, young people need to identify their personal resources, and you as a trainer, you can help them to be aware of them. How, for example, in an activity when your participant could reach a goal, instead of just congratulate him, bravo, great, just to highlight the resources that the participant used to get this goal. And the resources could be, for example, empathy, sense of humor, and telling, excellent, did you see, thanks to your sense of humor, you could finally overcome this or that situation. So try in each activity to help the young people identify how did they overcome this or that situation. And the last advice, okay, is concerning the advantage of teens' reward-seeking behavior. Okay, young people show a greater affinity for reward than adults. So this is the reason why games, competition, team spirit can foster and consolidate learning process. A study for Columbia University showed that in the brain, there are two regions linked to reward-seeking behavior, the striatum and the hippocampus, and they were more connected in teenagers' brains. And the coordinated activity between these two regions, okay, will enrich teens' ability to learn and to memorize new information. So we encourage you, we foster, and actually we used to do, when we want to transfer specific information, we try to organize games activity competitions so that we can reinforce all the information that we want to transfer, okay? And for recapitulation, Manon, do you want to recap?
Yes, of course. Thank you. Can you hear me? I'm just looking if you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay. This is the end of the training. We saw different principles and different tips to really try to take advantage of how the brain functions. So you remember we saw three principles of brain functioning: chunking, meaning making sense out of information, associating new information to previous knowledge, and insisting on recodifying information and learning it through different ways. So students, trainees can have access to it through different highways in their brain. For that to happen, we need to stimulate attention and concentration, and you have different tools for that. As trainers, we need to remember to time the tasks in short intervals. We need to trigger curiosity with newness and novelty. Really, we need to dare to do different things that are different and strange. And we need to remember to fuel brains with water, oxygen, and glucose, which seems obvious, but we often forget. And last but not least, in order to for this learning to be integrated and for the people to be committed to apply it, we need to trigger and foster motivation and commitments. And so you have different tools for that also to trigger motivation and commitments. You can use positive emotions. You can help identify personal resources, so they identify all situations and everything they will face in their projects as challenges, and they will know how to face them. And then you can also use this reward-seeking behavior that is quite specific to teenagers in order to motivate them to learn and to apply their learning. So here you have the different references that we used today.